Hi, welcome back to Rookie and Jacqui. Let's chat allergies. We're on to part 3 this week, and we're going to talk about moving away from home when you've got an allergy or living at universities. So, Rookie.
Hi, I'm Rookie. I'm from Womby's Kitchen. I think we talked about this already. I used to be an IT consultant and I've moved into catering, specialist catering, because I have a son with a dairy allergy and I love helping make people food that they can eat then to keep them safe. So that's a bit about me.
Okay. So, in terms of living at universities, my background, I was 10 years at Manchester Met University as head of catering with 36,000 students, 4,000 staff, lots of mouths to feed. And suddenly we were catering for lots of people with different diets. So, my interest in allergens started when I worked there, and the law changed, and we had to start declaring allergies to our customers. So, it made it very real to me. And as my daughter started with allergies at the age of 14, I had to manage at home as well. So, okay, so
Okay. So this time, as you know, my son has dairy allergy. He is 13 at the moment, but thinking forward and trying to plan for the future, there's going to be a time, well, there's starting to be times already where he goes out on his own, he's going to be doing his own thing, and he's going to end up leaving home, living away from home, either at uni or in a shared house. So I guess my first things that I would be thinking about are, firstly, kissing. Sorry, I know this will embarrass him to pieces if he hears this or sees this, but you know, he's got a dairy allergy. So if he kisses someone who's had a cocktail or has been eating cheese or something like that, the chances are he's going to have some sort of reaction. Alcohol's going to be a big thing. And then, going away and living away. So those are the things that for me, I've been thinking about, and all the things that I can do to try and sort of prepare him for going forwards.
so when I do training at universities, and in that group, I always talk about Freshers Week. So traditionally, when new students arrive at Freshers Week, there's parties, and there might be a little bit of drinking involved, and they're meeting new people, and quite often that's the time where you kind of make new friends, as it were, and smooching starts at the end of the night. And how do you overcome that when you're a student with severe allergy like your son, or somebody's got a peanut allergy, and just by kissing or touching somebody, they can react, and it can be extremely serious. So when I talk about this in our classes, they hadn't thought about it. But actually, as you say, it is something they need to think about. So it's about having that confidence to say, I'm sorry, I like you a lot, but I need to ask you, what have you eaten?
What have you eaten tonight?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
which is something that you're going to have to speak to your son about, because you wouldn't want him
Yeah.
to have that, smooch, and then have, suddenly be rushed off in an ambulance, and the poor person, on the other end of that would be horrified. So
Be a memorable evening for both of them for the wrong
so
reasons.
yeah, a
Grief.
difficult area, but it's about getting that confidence. And I know a few people have done talks about that on the podcast about how to manage with an allergy and kind of day-to-day situations that other people wouldn't think about. So yeah, Freshers Week is one to prepare him for.
Yeah, I think my concern also is around, they're going to start drinking at some point. And when you do drink, you lose your inhibitions, don't you? And you just you don't think about it as much as you probably should do. So, even things like going to a chip shop at the end of the night and a kebab and all those kind of things, will he forget to remember to ask if there's anything in there? And if they say, oh, they don't know, will he just go, okay, fine, it'll be all right?
Mm.
And actually just, where now we'd be like, we'll walk out.
I think
Will he
I
then
think he
go,
will. I think he will remember, because it'll be ingrained in him. So my daughter,
oh,
I think I've
should
told you
be.
before, she can't do potatoes. So in
Yeah.
her first year at university, she was living at home for the first year because she was not confident enough to move out, and she's at Manchester University anyway, so that worked out fine. But year 2 and 3, she's now in a shared house. However, one night she was going out with her friends for a drink, and I found her checking up on Google, and I said, "What are you looking for?" "I'm just trying to find out which vodka doesn't contain potatoes." I'm like, "Oh, could you not just have water? Do you need to have vodka? Is it essential to your evening?" But of course, but actually, before she went, she was checking which brand,
Oh,
because some
that's
brands
brilliant.
of vodka don't have potato. And her friends are very protective of her. So, if he's got close friends, which she will have, if he's had one more drink than normal, his friends will remind him. They do
Yeah,
tend to be protective, and you know, if he shares his in you know his insecurities with them, they will check for him if he's had one drink too many.
that's it. You've got to hope. I mean, his friends at the moment are great, and you kind of hope that you surround yourself with
Mm.
people that are the same, don't you? So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's all good. Sharing houses must be an interesting thing. I know you talk about universities, but you know, people in a shared house, you don't always know the people that you're sharing with, and you share cutlery and you share space in the fridge.
Mhm.
Sometimes people share your food without being asked. So you know, that opens up a whole load of things as well, doesn't it? Just
Yeah.
how do you keep people safe in that situation as well?
So in year two, my daughter moved into a share house, so she knew the people she was moving into, because for year one, I think that was her worry in year one, she wouldn't know anybody and wouldn't know who
Yeah,
to share with. So year two, she'd made friends, so they already knew. But straight away, she had the kind of, you know, sometimes the cupboards are up on the shelves and you've got two cupboards in the same block, and then there was one on its own, and she said, that's mine, because it was on its own, this cupboard, and she put her
yeah,
name on it. They have their own kind of shelf in the freezer. She tends to keep her products in the fridge in a Tupperware type box, so it's lidded,
yeah,
you know, with a name on. But this year she had a change of people sharing with her, because one of her friends has gone away. She's doing languages, so she's away this year. So it was a lad that moved in this time who perhaps wasn't quite so tidy. Lovely lad, but
say nothing.
so she had to, you know, have words with her, because she said to me, I don't know what's wrong with this term. She said, but I am having reactions. I'm doing everything I should be doing. She said, but I think it's in the house. I think they're not cleaning the breadboard, for example. So she said, I've had to have a few words with them. She said, because I've been feeling poorly. So she's that sensitive to gluten, you know, shared breadboard, you know, a few breadcrumbs will affect her. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's about having that confidence and saying, you know, we need to work together on this. This is what I need to do to keep safe. And also explaining to them about the EpiPen. You know, if something happens, you know, my daughter doesn't have an EpiPen, so we don't have that concern. But with your son, you know, and explain to them, this is the EpiPen, this is what happens if you need to use it, or help me to use it, you know, and this is where I keep it.
Yeah,
And in an
that's the most important
emergency,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
please ring the ambulance, because this is what will happen. And having that conversation, I think, is really important. And in residential care in the universities, you need to have that conversation as well with people, with people in the managers who can help. So they've got a protocol in place. If something happens, they would send first aiders and get, you know, the ambulances, etc. It may not happen, but just in case it does, you need to have a plan in place.
I think your confidence comes when you know that people around you know what they're doing and they've got a plan in place for these kind of things that, you know, hopefully won't ever happen, but that sometimes do happen.
They do, yeah.
Um, I think you were sort of talking about universities and the food and all that kind of thing as well, and
Yeah,
how you keep the kids safe that come in, which I think is just brilliant.
yeah. So we were quite proactive with our approach. Because of my experiences with my daughter, I just used to think of her standing in that queue. How would she choose a meal? What would she do? You know, because one of our areas was so busy, you would feel overwhelmed trying to find out what to eat. So we highlighted on the menu, may be suitable for a gluten-free diet, may be suitable for, you know, a milk-free diet, please ask. And big signs which said, if you've got a food allergy or intolerance, please ask. We are all trained and happy to help. None of this, you know, please, you know, if you've got an allergy, just ask. We're trained and happy to help. That kind of come forward and speak to us. Any menus that might be suitable for people with allergies were highlighted in purple, you know, and a purple circle around them. We used purple utensils because it was so busy. And just to make sure the people on the counter use the same utensil for each dish and didn't change over, but also so the person in the queue might think, oh, okay, I might be able to have that dish. It's awareness raising all the time. And also in some universities, if they've got residential students who've got severe allergies, they will arrange to meet them in the first week or two when they start at university. They'll have an appointment. And at one university I worked with, if they hadn't appeared by their third appointment, they would contact the parents and say, you
Oh,
know,
crikey.
your son, daughter hasn't appeared. We're really concerned. We need to know what to not only their allergies, but also likes and dislikes, because there's no point making a dish if they don't like mushrooms or don't like peppers or onions or whatever. Because I always say in my training, they might have severe allergies, but also they're allowed to not like things.
Yeah.
Because chefs go, oh, they've already got an allergy. What do you mean they don't want mushrooms? But actually, they might not like mushrooms. You know, I don't like certain things. And I think
Yeah.
that's hard for some chefs to appreciate.
I think that's one of my biggest gripes with allergen menus, is that the choices are so limited, and they assume that everyone does like the same thing. And you're right, they don't. And I think restaurants and catering outlets really fall down in that area, sadly.
Yeah. So it's about making it make sure they're approachable. Also, open days. I had a big table where I got freebies from the suppliers, and come and try these gluten-free cookies or whatever. We had menus on display. This is what we provide. Please come and talk to us, so that our staff got to know the people with allergies, and they kind of tend to mother them. Oh, you know, so and so's not been in today, or so and so really enjoyed this meal. They're coming again next Wednesday, and they get to know who, because we didn't have residential students, so it was kind of as and when, but we got to know them. And on open days, it was really good to speak to the parents, because we had the Allergen accreditation scheme. So we had a case where somebody's parent was so concerned about letting the child come away to university, she wanted to do a sports course. And she was at the sports table, and the manager there said, oh, go and speak to Jacqui, because I know she's done a lot of work on allergens. I spoke to the parents and said, well, we feel really confident now. We're going to, you know, this is our choice of university. So it's really important on that open day to ask those questions and talk if you've got, you know, if that's one of your main concerns.
Yeah, and I think that's so important. I think it's having the confidence to go and speak to people and say, you know, ask the question, ask the hard questions, because actually, if you're not going to ask them, your child may not want to ask them either.
Yeah.
For me, if my child was going to go to university and I found a university that was really confident about dealing with allergies, oh, it'd be a no-brainer. I wouldn't be pushing him there, but you know, I'd be suggesting that would be a really good place to put on the sort of shortlist, because it gives him confidence, and it will give us confidence that he's going to be looked after as well. And I know he's got to take responsibility, but you know, it's a stepping stone, isn't it?
It is.
It's something to help him along the way. Yeah, absolutely, definitely. I think that's very true. And I liked your what you were saying about making your staff approachable. You know, the wording that you were using. To I think you can write that we're allergy friendly, but actually, if you can say, you know, we're approachable, we'll talk to you, we're happy to talk to you. I think that makes it a lot easier for people to then go, okay, I'll have a word with them, and I'll talk to them about it.
Yeah,
definitely.
So lots of universities do have the allergen accreditation scheme. So we've done some audits for them, but Lancaster University, every unit they have has been accredited. Some universities just have one area accredited, but Lancaster, you know, we've gone back, I think 3 times now, 3 years, to check their units of an annual audit, and each time they have a new cafe bar or a new restaurant, the manager there is really, really diligent and wants to get allergen accreditation throughout. So that's the whole campus has been accredited, and their approach is really, really good. So
and it shows they care. They really take it
really
seriously.
Yeah.
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 It's great. We need more of those, definitely. We need more places like that to behave with that attitude.
Yeah. So we'll talk about allergen accreditation scheme in another one of our chats, because I think it really gives confidence to the customer. And that's that difference. Shall we send our son or daughter here or there, or shall we go to this restaurant or that restaurant? It's a really good scheme to give confidence. Yeah.
I think so. I think if that gets rolled out more and more, and it becomes recognised by people will start gravitating towards those kind of places that are already accredited, because you know that you're going to have a safe meal.
Yeah, good. Perfect. Excellent. So I think that wraps it up for this week.
I think so.
Yeah, so I think the main thing is to instill confidence, to ask questions, don't be frightened. If you're not happy, walk away. Walk away.
Yeah, absolutely. Always walk away if there's any doubt in your mind whatsoever.
Yeah.
Safety.
Even that first kiss. Even that first kiss. We'll walk away if you're not happy.
If you're not sure. Definitely.
Okay, that's great. So we'll speak again next week. Okay.
Hopefully so. Run up to Christmas, so it could be a very short conversation. It's busy over here.
We'll let you know if it's next week or in the new year. Okay, see you soon.
Definitely. Take care.
Bye.